To Metallica began coming together just 2 months later in his Hollywood apartment complex.
That was Dave Mustaine's apartment right up there.
There was some guy living underneath me.
And I was living right down below.
And he was playing bass first thing in the morning, full blast.
It was Running with the Devil by Van Halen. So I was sitting there going, bum, bum, bum.
I have nothing against Van Halen, but that's the most horrible bass line to listen to if you're hungover.
Bum, bum, bum.
And all of a sudden, I hear this flower pot comes smashing down onto my air conditioner. And I heard this guy yelling, "Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!"
And it stopped.
The bass player was 18-year-old David Ellefson, a native of the tiny town of Jackson, Minnesota. David had his sights set on rock stardom before he'd graduated middle school.
He formed a little group, probably about 13, 14 years old, and played on the front porch. Mothers made sandwiches and lemonade and invited all the neighbors in and all the kids.
All I wanted to do was be in a rock band. That was it.
In the summer of '83, David left Minnesota and headed to L.A. to chase his dream.
We had a lot of reservations. People would say, how can you let him go out to L.A.? That's where they're going to do drugs, they're going to do this and that and the other. But we thought, well, he was going to school, and we just had to kind of trust along the way.
I told my parents, well, look, there's a school out there called Musicians Institute. Maybe I'll go there.
Although he was accepted into the school, David would never take a class because within days, he collided with Dave Mustaine.
Well, these neighbors aren't too friendly here in California like they are back in Minnesota.
I hear this on my door, and I open the door, and there's these two kids.
Gives me this kind of like condescending look. The infamous Mustaine snarl.
And they go, hey, you know where to get some cigarettes? And I went,
yeah, down the street at the liquor store, and slams the door in my face.
Hey, are you old enough to buy beer? And I said, now you're talking.
We hooked up and went down the street, got a case of Heineken.
The rest is history. That's how David Ellefson got in the band.
Mustaine quickly took Ellefson under his wing, introducing him to hard drugs and a frantic musical style.
He was playing this stuff, and I was just, I was mesmerized. I was like, I had never heard anything like that before. That is cool.
The two began auditioning lead singers for the band, but none of them could match Mustaine's intensity.
Dave was driven, you know. I mean, you can almost say that he is possessed in a way. I remember the night that Dave just said, you know, fuck it, I'm just going to sing, you know.
Even before the band's lineup was complete, Dave Mustaine had settled on a name for it, a word he'd stumbled upon during his darkest hour.
When I came home from New York in the bus, there was a handbill. I was writing lyrics on the back of everything. I'm bored, so I flip it over, and it's from Senator Alan Cranston, and he says, the arsenal of Megadeth can't be written. I thought, great song title. So I write the song, Megadeth.
But the song turned into Set the World Afire. Megadeth minus 1A became the name of the band.
I remember calling home to talk to my parents, you know, because in Minnesota they talk like the people from Fargo, you know, so they're like, oh yeah, what's the name of the band? And they're like, Megadeth.
Oh, yeah, you know, Megadeth. Here we go.
Buzz about the formation of the new band ran rampant throughout the metal underground.
The network started to spread information, and it spread like wildfire.
We would get letters from all around the world.
And I remember all these kids writing, man, it's going to be fast, it's going to be fast, it's got to be fast. And one day we go to rehearsal, and everything's bumped up about 20 beats per minute. Next thing you know, we're a speed metal band. I mean, it happened like that.
Now Megadeth needed to add to their numbers. In November '83, jazz fusion vet Gar Samuelson arrived for an audition and made a searing impression.
The guy comes, and he falls asleep with a cigarette in his hand, and it burns right clear through his fingers, and I thought, this is rad.
Behind the drum set, it was just like he was like a praying mantis or something, you know, and you just could not see what he was doing. It was something to watch him play.
Gar's fluid playing lended a sense of order to Dave's outrageous riffs. And as the band began playing gigs, the metal audience was all too ready for the man too maniacal for Metallica.
The people in the audience were just freaking out, man. I
mean, Dave could have told him, all right, go out on the street right now and kill the first person you see, and they would have, you know. That's the kind of vibe it was.
Guitarist Chris Poland, who played with Gar Samuelson in a jazz band, instantly went backstage and asked in to Gar's new group.
They gave us such an unpredictable chemistry, not only because of the drug part, but because of the playing part. Chris is an amazing guitar player. He plays circles around me, and he wanted to be in the band, and that was the first real lineup. It was Gar, Chris, David Ellefson, and myself.
With his lineup complete, Dave Mustaine was finally ready to answer Metallica with a band of his own.
People were just frantic. I mean, it was just like electricity.
I had never seen anything like that. No one ever reacted to music like that.
Next, Megadeth on a rampage.
It was no bad boy image, man. We were just out of control. We were just, you know, all guns blazing, and at all times, 24/7.
And later, Dave Mustaine gives in to the needle.
I finally realized that, you know, the jig's up. I've lost this battle. I'll never win.
Just months after his expulsion from Metallica, Dave Mustaine rebounded by forming a rival band called Megadeth. But in the winter of '83, his old bandmates stole his thunder when they released their debut album, Kill 'Em All.
I remember the day Kill 'Em All came out, and I listened to it, and I heard the first song, and my stuff was on there. I was fuming because I told them not to use my music.
His ex-bandmates maintained Dave said nothing of the kind. Still, Mustaine was now more determined than ever to outmuscle Metallica. He sped up the tempo of Megadeth's assault and made his lyrics even more nihilistic.
We're going to do basically what we set out to do, and that's break all the rules and have as much fun while we're doing it as we can.
The mission statement was to have the fastest,
Utmost heaviest,
utmost furious,
ultra furious
metal band ever.
We didn't care about the future. We just wanted to be the most dangerous band on the planet.
Then it was in our contract to, you know, to basically break all the laws of God and man, I guess, you know. So that's what we did.
From day one, Megadeth's members made danger a personal mission. Mustaine and Ellefson's appetite for self-destruction was matched by Chris Poland and Gar Samuelson.
They played jazz. They also lived the jazz lifestyle, which meant, for a lot of jazz players, heroin.
That was the first time that I really saw a bona fide heroin addict. I mean, I was like, we ain't in Kansas anymore, Toto.
You want to be great, you had to do heroin. That's straight out of Gar's mouth. And I thought, you know what, I want to be great.
While Chris and Gar were full-blown junkies, Mustaine and Ellefson were soon snorting heroin and mixing it with cocaine, a deadly cocktail known as a speedball.
It was great. The heroin helped you come down off the cocaine. Now I knew why everybody did speedballs. I know why they did it. And I forgot that everybody died from it. I forgot that part.
It was no bad boy image, man. We were just